Hi there. Today, I wanted to share with you a different way of working with your inner critic. So, what I am seeing as a bit of a theme is, and it's very historical and a traditional way of working with the inner critic, is to meet it in quite an aggressive way, to be like, tell your inner critic to shut up, or tell the inner critic, I'm going to smash you, I'm going to kick you out of the park. And it's like, shut up. And I find it quite jarring. I don't think it's a wrong way to do it, because it's probably a way that I also used to work with my inner critic. But I really want to show you that there is a different way to work with your inner critic that can be a really, really effective way to do that. If we look at the context of meeting a critic with a critic, it doesn't usually end that well. If you look out in the broader context of life, when we have ongoing critics with critics, that's actually what causes war. And if we keep turning inwards to ourselves and working against our critic and being really this harsh, mean voice towards our inner critic, we're just creating this inner war within us. And as you know, I work as an internal family systems practitioner, and I'm always working with these different parts that are showing up inside you. And one of those parts is often an inner critic. And the way that I really want to invite you to look at this is, what if we treated this inner critic like it was a part of us, like a member of our family, right? If this was one of our children outside of ourselves, would you tell them to shut up when they were critical? Or would you tell them, I'm going to smash you? Or, these really quite aggressive ways of working with inner critic. Or would you try to come towards that child with more compassion and understanding for maybe how they're feeling, what's going on, where is this coming from? Because that's my invitation to you, is when we work with our inner critic, we come to understand that the inner critic is there not because it just wants to be a pain and get in the way of us living our purpose or living our life. The inner critic is there because it wants to protect you in some way. It's got a good intention, and it's been around for a long time. It wants to keep you safe. It doesn't want you to take any risks. It wants you to avoid judgment. It wants you to avoid failing. It wants you to avoid anything that is hurtful. And when you come to understand that that's the intention of the inner critic, and it's got a good intention, like most of our parts, then we get to turn towards it in a really different way. We get to look at it with compassion. We get to thank it. We get to appreciate it. We get to say, wow, I can see you. I can hear your concerns. I can understand why you're piping up and saying, who are you to do this? You're going to fail. You're not good enough. And it's speaking up because it's afraid. And we can either meet that with aggression, or we can say to it, thanks a lot for showing up for me. I really understand, and I can see you and I can see your concerns, but I've got this because I am the adult here. I am the person who can take risks. I am okay with failure. I know I'm good enough. And we come in with this beautiful, compassionate, understanding voice that gets to help the inner critic step back. Okay, so I know some of you are thinking, oh no, that's like too soft and that's too kind. That's not going to do anything. But I promise you, I've worked both ways. I've worked with the harder kind of cognitive way of really hitting this inner critic, and I've worked with this more compassionate approach. And I promise you, the compassionate approach is more sustainable. It really does work. And it's something that I really promote, not just in working with the inner critic, but working with all of your parts that show up, all of those parts that are getting in the way of you being able to move forward. And as we move into, my next program, which is launching in May, the whole approach of this is helping you to find and live your purpose in a way that's with kindness to self, with compassion, bringing your whole self in, bringing all of these parts and understanding them and honoring them and bringing them on the path with you rather than smashing them into the ground and hating them. We bring them with you because we have to honor them to be able to step into that next level, but we get you to be more in yourself, in your true self. So if you are feeling like you're ready to step into your purpose, you're ready to kind of move through that inner critic or the inner judge or whatever these parts are showing up that are stopping you from moving forward, and you want to do it in a more compassionate way that feels like you can embrace all of who you are, then do come join me for Living with Purpose. It's the end of May, and just send me a direct message and I'll get you on the wait list, or jump on my website, simondeni.me, and have a look on there. But I'd love to take you on this journey. It's a very different way of working with ourselves. There is enough harshness in the world, and there is enough harshness online, that we have to treat ourselves in a different way. And I really, really believe working with our inner family in a compassionate way is the way forward, and it is the most definitely sustainable and kindest way to work. So I'd love to hear how you feel about that in the comments, and I'll see you very soon.